But we're happy to be joined today by Taryn Taylor. She's going to tell us all about her life, her dreams, her hopes, her ambitions. She's going to tell us a little bit about some of her struggles, hopefully. She's agreed to be an open book. She's just going to lay it out there for us. Well, maybe not, but we'll try. And anyway, I'm glad you wanted to be on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you been watching some of the other ones?
I've watched some of them. I haven't watched all of them yet, but I've watched a few. And actually, the one where you talked to, I think it was Kirk, and you were telling Kirk that you and I had a really good conversation, a couple years ago, and I was just like, yeah, we did. And so like when I heard you were doing these, I was just like, well, me and Uncle Tim already had a really good conversation, but I'm sure we could have another one.
We did, and that was good for me. And I probably might not have asked to talk to you again about stuff like that, except, originally it was just for me. I was being kind of selfish, but man, it has been really popular. I mean, like, people love it.
Yeah.
So
I've really enjoyed getting to learn some things about some of the cousins, but also some of the in-laws. I don't know Cole very well. I'm not in that age group, and so I never really spent a lot of time around him. And so it's just this has been good. I'm getting to know people better, and so I'm really enjoying it too.
I think it works like that. The thing about strengthening families and whatnot. I mean, how because I've had this thing. If you've watched very many of them, I don't know which ones I mentioned it on, but where, I mean, we got a great family and everything. We're really supportive, and it's really great. But sometimes I think that, I know, in fact, that there are some in the family that feel a little bit more left out than others.
Yeah.
But it's not intentional. I've not found, your age group and the kids below you, you're actually at the top end of that group. But, they're generally, you guys are pretty good about kind of loving each other and, looking the other way about things. And
well, it's not even necessarily just looking the other way about things. It's just those things don't matter. They don't make a difference to how we feel about each other.
Which is awesome.
For me, for sure, I can say that. But I think there's a lot of us where it's just how people are doesn't change the fact that we love you, that that we're family, and that we love each other. So
no, and that's the way that it should be. I can tell you generationally, that's not the way it's always been.
Yeah.
I mean, there are times when you step over the wrong line, you might not make it back into the
to the inner circle.
the approved inner circle. So, all right. So just as a heads up. Oh, yes, can you still hear me? Oh, sorry. My Siri just came on. No, Siri, I don't want you. So I got these. There we go. These things if these things fall out in the middle of the interview, don't be surprised.
Hey, no worries. I actually can't do inside the earbuds because they don't fit my ears ever. So
have you?
I can't do those kind.
Even Apple ones don't fit?
No, they really don't fit well. They either end up falling out, or they just get really uncomfortable. And so pretty much every set of headphones I have that I use regularly are over the ear ones.
Oh, that's not bad. My only problem is I was going to just get some headphones to use. I was using the Apple ones, but I couldn't, for whatever reason, some bug in my system, I couldn't get the thing to allow me to use the Yeti mic and my Apple earphones, right? They wanted to just use the earphones, which isn't bad for a phone call, but it's not the best for video work.
No,
so,
it's not.
So I got these, and I don't know. And then I upgraded my system, and now suddenly the Apple ones are working fine. So whatever. It's
just
crazy. So you're at home in Richland, right?
Yep. Living in Richland now. Been living here. I've actually been in this house. Oh shoot, how many years is it? It'll be 7 years in June.
Yeah.
So long time.
I don't think that I could picture your house exactly, but I know the street that you live on, and I'll bet I could get close, because I used to go up and down that street quite a bit. I know how to get there, so it's interesting. But so do you have room? Do you rent out to people?
Not anymore. So when I first moved into this house, I had 2 roommates. One of them was actually Whitney Rowley. So first moved in, I had 2 roommates. One was Whitney Rowley. Whitney moved out after, I want to say it was a couple years. And then I had another roommate who got married and moved out. And when she was getting married, I got another new roommate who moved in. And then we were all renting actually at the time. So we were renting this house. And then here a few years ago, my landlord said, hey, we want to let you guys know we are thinking about selling the house, and wanted to give you guys a heads up so you can start looking for a place. And when they mentioned that, I was just like, well, actually, let me take a look at something real quick, and looked at my finances and went, hey, I could buy the house.
Cool. That's very cool.
Yeah. So I ended up buying the house, and then my roommate was paying me rent, each month. And then she moved out end of 2019. So I've been living by myself since then.
My goodness.
Yeah.
How many bedrooms you got there?
3. Technically two, because one of the bedrooms I'm using as my office. So.
Huh. That's cool.
It is. I actually really like it. I've had some people be like, would you ever, consider getting another roommate and renting again? And I'm just kind of like, I don't need the money, so I can afford to live alone right now, and I really kind of like it. And so I'm like, I think maybe at this point, the next time I get a roommate, it'll be when I get married. So.
Right. So, how are things looking on that front?
No prospects whatsoever.
Oh.
So it's definitely not going to happen anytime soon.
You don't, you're not going out with anyone right now at all?
No. Well, I mean, quarantine kind of makes it hard to go on dates for starters. Also kind of makes it hard to meet people.
Yeah.
But yeah, and honestly, that's been, I think you and I talked about this a little bit, actually when we were having our good conversation a couple years back, but I had.
Has that been years? Has it been years?
During cancer year. It's like, it'll have been, it's like a year and a half-ish, because it was.
That's freaking me out. I could have sworn that was last year.
I'm
my gosh.
sure it was like end of 2019, because I was out at my parents' house, and I haven't been out at my parents' house in a really long time. So, I mean, besides like Christmas of last year was like the last time I was out there, but so like we had been talking about that, and it was kind of like, well, I had cancer year, and obviously I wasn't doing a whole lot of dating or looking for dating prospects at the time. And so after that, it was, I had said, hey, I kind of want to, I want to get back into it, but things are really different for me right now. And so I've got to kind of ease into it a little bit. And then right when I probably would have started to try easing into it was when all the COVID and the quarantine stuff happened. And it's just like, well, okay, you guys stay in your house and you're not going anywhere anytime soon. It's like, all right, well, that's going to make meeting people very difficult.
For sure.
And that's fine. And then it's just kind of, and then I'm a homebody anyways. I'm terrible. I very much am the kind of person where it's just like, oh no, I gotta stay home now. Darn. Gotta stay home with my Netflix and my computer games and my Nintendo Switch. Darn.
I know. People sometimes don't understand that those of us who love solitude, we're serious. We're not doing that as a coping mechanism. We actually like being alone sometimes. And no, I'm the same way. I have my moments though, where you can start to feel a little bit lonely from time to time, but
I like having people that I can go spend time with. And I like spending time with my family. I've got some friends here in town that I like going to spend time with. I've got some friends who live over in Seattle, so I don't get to spend as much time with them, but it's I have some really good friends where I like getting to spend time with friends, but I also like my alone time, and I like my quiet time. I am very much an introvert, and that surprises some people.
Really?
Yeah. And I get why. It's because a lot of people don't have interactions with me except for one-on-one. And then when I'm in a one-on-one conversation, I have no problem talking. I have no problem having a conversation with somebody, it's very, no big deal. And so people are just like, well, you're so friendly, there's no way you're an introvert. And I'm like, oh no, I definitely am. I very much am.
So what is it? Why do people develop that belief system that an introvert can't be happy? Because I know you're right. Yeah. I mean, I know it's right what you're saying. It's like I can't say it. I want to say it. The last year, in some ways, for some people, I know it's been a real challenge. But like, if you are a little bit, and I'll just use the phrase antisocial, not that you're antisocial, but I am.
I am a little bit. Let's be real.
Yeah. In the traditional, sense, I mean, we're antisocial, so I mean, it can sort of be like, like this was made for us. We love it. Whoa, why am I picking up two? Am I coming through to you okay?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine. I wiggled my iPad though. I don't know if
Oh, maybe. I don't know. It's like all of a sudden I could hear myself again.
It might be my iPad. It might be feedback from my end. If I need to, I can put a headset in and we can do that too. So
no, right now you sound pretty good. So. All right. Actually, what I find, like when I'm putting them together, is after we're done recording, I'll go through and look, and it's like, oh my gosh, I'm such a loudmouth, because mine are all like bumping on the yellows all the way across, and everybody else I'm like leaning in to see if I can hear. Right. But
well, it helps too with the microphone. I think that helps have the audio level be better than
this microphone. This microphone's pretty sweet.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
I might have to ask you for some tips, like total side note, but I don't know if you are familiar with Twitch or anything like that, but I've been considering starting a Twitch stream, so I might ask you for some microphone tips.
Really? Yeah, that might be fun anyway. Yeah. So are you? I know you have the iPad. Are you a Mac girl otherwise?
No. No, I have an iPad, I have an iPhone, and that's it for Apple products for me. Everything else is PC.
Yeah. Well, that's all right. There's not much difference anymore, but yeah. I've always been kind of a Mac freak, even before you were. No, wait a minute. How old are you?
How old am I? I'm 36. I'll be 36 this year.
Oh, so you were okay. Yeah, so you had already arrived in this world before I came into the family.
Yes, I did actually.
I thought you were just a young buck. Are you No, let's see. Who's the oldest?
Oldest grandkid?
Yeah.
That's Sarah. Sarah's the oldest.
Okay. All right. And then who?
Oh gosh, I don't know.
Do you know? You don't know?
I don't know the order. I know, I want to say Sarah, Michaela, and Sunil are like in the oldest group. I don't know who all else. I don't know where Carissa falls in with that. And then there's and then you have Hannah and Haley. And then you start getting to Rory, and then you get down to Kirsten, Dax, and I feel really bad. I haven't talked to him forever. I don't know if he's going by Colt or Damien these days.
He's going by Colt.
Okay, Colt. I feel so bad.
That was one of those things I found out from doing his interview, but still, he's got to review it. He really was worried. I don't blame him. He wanted to review it before it went live, and so. And if you want the same thing, I'll do the same thing for you. Like Carissa, for example, she's reviewing hers too, but she didn't ask for it ahead of time, so I put it up, and then I got a text message from her saying, by the way...
Yeah, actually, you cannot do this.
Yeah, so I took it back down, but you're in that older group then, because we've done Michaela, we've done Carissa.
Yeah. I'm after the first third of, I'm in the 2/3 section of the second third section of the grandkids, I feel like. So I'm not in the middle, but I'm not up at the top either.
Still though, I think that your willingness to do it will help other people who may be a little more introverted be a little bit more open to it. Yeah. I hope so anyway, because I think a lot of people want to hear from you. They do. I mean, nobody gets to talk to you very often.
People, so yeah.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, if I did this with Colt, because you know, he's got a little rather storied background as well. But so let's just get the 50,000-pound gorilla out of the room right away. Give us an update on what's going on with you and cancer treatments and recovery and all that.
Absolutely. So I finished so just kind of background for anybody who missed it. Back in 2019, February 2019, I noticed something was wrong. Went, hey, I need to get a mammogram. I'm not messing around with this. Got my appointment, had my mammogram. They went, yeah, there's something there. We're going to do a biopsy. Did the biopsy, went, yeah, it tested positive for cancer. So you got to start treatment. And then April 2019 was when I started chemo. Did chemo through about July. I think it was like mid-July-ish is when my last chemo treatment was. And then had my double mastectomy end of August 2019. Did my little bit of recovery, did radiation from like October through to the week before Thanksgiving. And I was doing radiation every single day during the week. So the only days I wasn't doing radiation were Saturdays and Sundays, and finished that November 2019. And then that was the end of my treatment. So after all of that, I had, when they did the mastectomy, they did, I forget the word for it. Basically, they did tests and stuff, and there were no remaining cancer cells
Cool.
when they did the mastectomy. So really, really good prognosis. So I haven't had any treatment since then, but I have regular checkups. I actually have one tomorrow. So I have regular checkups every like 3 to 4 months, and they check in, see, you know, everything going okay. They do like a physical exam to see if there's anything, like maybe some areas of concern where they go, we need to do some scans or anything like that. And then tomorrow, if everything, they also do blood work. I do blood work every single time I have one of these checkups. So tomorrow, if everything is looking good, I will be going to checkups every 6 months. So fingers crossed.
Yes, yeah. So all of us only know, including yourself, I think, you probably know more than most, but we're all only marginally aware of cancer, various kinds of cancer. I've had my 50-year-old colonoscopy, which I did have some polyps, but they were the kind that were not cancerous. Although they did go in and take a biopsy and ground them down and whatnot.
Just to make sure.
Yeah, they were the flat kind. I don't really know the difference, except they say, oh no, those are not problems. But for all of the nieces and aunts in our viewing audience, do you and we can cut this out if it's too personal, but do you recommend like self-checking, or what would you suggest that people do?
No, we're not going to cut this out. I'm very open about my cancer stuff. I don't mind sharing stuff at all for that. Definitely start self-checking when you're young, because like I never had before. I never had done like a self-check before. For the most part, I think these days now, and it's younger than it used to be, but these days now, like they don't even necessarily recommend people start getting mammograms until like they're 35 or 40 or something like that.
Really?
Yeah. Unless you have like a family history of breast cancer, and then, you know, I think it's like 35 is when they maybe start recommending doing it. But that was the thing. I was younger than 35. I was 34 when I was diagnosed. I was really, really young for like the type of breast cancer that I had. Like it was, I mean, the type of breast cancer I had, the stage that it was at, all of it was just completely abnormal. I was nowhere in like the normal range or like demographic for that or anything. So I definitely recommend like start doing self-checks, like learn how to do that really, you know, when you're young. So that way, if you do notice something's weird, you can, you know, go into your doctor and say, hey, you know, I, you know, started doing this, and like I have, you know, and like when they do like the family history, they kind of want to do more like, you know, the closer the family history, the more it means something. So like a grandparent or a mom or, you know, your sister or something like that, rather than like an aunt or a cousin or something. But still, like it's a big deal, and I feel like it's a lot more prevalent than people realize sometimes. And yeah, and like if I hadn't noticed something like felt weird, I wouldn't have gone in at all. And probably the only reason I even noticed it was because of how far along it was. Because like I said, I had never done a self-exam or anything like that before that. But yeah, so I definitely recommend like learn how to do self-exams, and don't put stuff off either. If you feel like something's wrong, like get it looked into as soon as possible, because if I had waited, and I very much could have been, I hate doctors. I hate setting up appointments for anything. Doesn't matter if it's a doctor, it could be something fun. I don't want to make that phone call and set up that appointment. I hate doing that. So I very well could have been, it's very, very, very much in the realm of possibility that I could have just been like, it's not that big a deal, it doesn't hurt or anything like that, so I'm just gonna put it off. And could have been even farther along when I finally did end up going in, because it would have gotten to a point where it's just like, no, there's obviously something wrong and I have to go in, and could have had a totally different story as far as like how everything went and my treatment and my prognosis and all of that. So yeah, I definitely recommend getting stuff checked out.
Now, we can go back around the barn on this, but if you want to, but you start reconstruction, I understand.
So I could start reconstruction. I'm past the, basically they want you to have a full year after radiation before you can do reconstruction, at least for the type of reconstruction that I wanted to do. So I'm definitely past that full year. But I'll be really honest, I'm not, I'm not too keen to do any more surgeries anytime soon, because the type of reconstruction I wanted to do is really intensive with like the first surgery. It's actually 4 surgeries over the course of a year. And the last 3 are all like really easy outpatient surgeries, no big deal. But the first one is like a full 2 to 3 months of recovery. And we're talking the kind of recovery where like you can't use your arms. You got to do dino arms for everything. Like you can't lift your arms above like your elbow range, basically. Yeah, exactly.
So it's actual reconstruction. It's not, it's not like getting
not like
artificial.
Yeah. So like I could if I wanted to, I could go the implant route, the kind that I was interested in, because I don't really love the idea of having implants, partly because I'm just like, the last thing I need is anything that could like potentially be an additional problem down. I don't like the idea of having something in my body that wasn't already there in general. Like, if it's life-saving, like a pacemaker or something, well, okay. But if I don't need it, then I think I'll pass. So the kind of reconstruction that I was interested in was where they basically take like your fat from another area of your body and they use that to reconstruct. And I was like, well, I've got plenty of that in my guts.
You're so funny.
And that was actually the funny thing too, because I did have a consultation with a plastic surgeon, not the actual plastic surgeon, but one of their nurses who does the consultations regularly, up in Spokane, and they were like, yeah, you could go to any size that you want, and like you definitely like this isn't exactly the way they said it, but basically like you have enough to work with, you could go whatever size you want. I'm just like, I don't want to be that big, so we're fine.
Okay. Un momento, por favor. Give me 1 second. I'm going to get rid of these because I don't know what to do with them. I'm going to go to I'm going to put these away. Okay. I'm going to put these Apple ones appear to be charged back up, so I'm going to see if they work now.
Fingers.
Then we can move on from there. These just stay in my ears. I don't have to worry about them falling out and everything. Now let's talk to me.
All right. Any luck now?
Right. Yeah, you're back. Okay. Or I'm back. Okay, good. Okay, so, all right, this is good stuff because I don't want to bypass this because I think a lot of times what I realized going through and getting tested and stuff was how often we just let it slide because we don't think anything could ever happen to us. So
yeah. Yeah. No, it's really true. It's not something, I mean, and like I said before, you know, I was so young compared to like the normal demographic that you think of with people. I mean, in general, just when you think of people who have breast cancer, you think of people who are like in their 50s or older, and definitely not the case for me. And so it is very much is something that you don't ever think like, oh yeah, I could have cancer someday. Like, no, why would you think that?
Yeah. So I want to ask you a question, because as a guy, I think that I understand this, but I want to make sure that I do. Because for me, if I'd gone through the thing that you went through,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't care a rip. I'd be like, nah, I'm not doing surgeries. I'm not doing reconstruction. If I do anything, I'll wear a prosthetic, because after all, that's all most people are ever going to see anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But do you feel that women get a lot of self-esteem, or do you feel that they're worried about how they look?
Oh, for sure. I feel like there's probably a lot of people who worry about, you know, hey, I don't feel like I look like myself. Because there are definitely times where like I'll look at myself in the mirror in a picture or something, and I'll be like, I don't look like I used to. And that's hard. Like, it's hard to be like, I don't look like, and I mean, I don't look like I used to in a lot of ways. But, and
none of us do.
Like I used to before cancer too. So not necessarily anything new there, but there's also things that like that, you know, you don't feel like, some people don't feel like a woman anymore because they're so used to having that. Your clothes don't fit the same way anymore. Like, it is
that I could see.
Hard for me. It is super, super hard for me to find clothing that fits the way I need it to, but that also is like, you know, feminine, and that is, you know, makes me feel like I am cute and pretty, and like I feel like I am looking good that day. Because to be really honest, I am not shaped like the way they make clothing for plus size women, because plus size women have bigger chests than I do. I am shaped more like the way they make clothing for plus size guys, and they don't make a lot of feminine clothing for plus size guys. So that's kind of a struggle.
I think it's, wow. You know, so this is, I guess, the other thing with you. I told you this when we were talking in the basement that day, but I mean, I guess I'm excited for you to get whatever done that you feel like you need to have done, but you have such a beautiful smile and such a fun personality. I told you, I think, that day, and I've told other people how much I enjoyed that conversation. Like, I didn't want it to end. I was having so much fun listening to you and whatnot that you know, I mean, don't get me wrong, being married is not the be all end all. You know, I'm sure everybody tells you that. But on the other hand, if you're not married and stuff, it's the thing that you really want, and you know, you want to accomplish that and meet someone that you love and you know, have your eternal moment, even though, you know, I don't know. The problem is in this life, because I mean, this life is really the life that you're trying to enjoy. Even if you know the promises are there and they're true and everything's going to work out in the end, it's like, yeah, how about this end? How about now?
Like, but for right now. How about for right now?
Exactly.
And that's really true, because like, I mean, there are times where it's like, I know, hey, if I don't get married in this life, it'll be fine. Like, it's not going to, that isn't going to change, you know, what the promises are for me in the next life. And that's not going to change like what could happen for me in the next life. But like, so then a lot of the times where I'm just like, I wish I was married, it's more for selfish reasons. It's for reasons like, I just don't want to be alone at night when, you know, when there's weird noises outside and I sit there and go, I'm not the type to get scared easily. I am the type to get paranoid easily. But so it's just like, I just want somebody else here in case somebody tries to break into the house. So we have two people who can fight them off. or I'm just like, I'll be sitting here watching, a show on Netflix or something, and I'll be like, I love watching this show, but I wish I had somebody to watch it with me and enjoy this with me. And it's usually for the selfish reasons that I go, like, I just wish I was married, I wish I was married so I had somebody to make sure I actually clean out the dishes in my sink or to take out the garbage for me, because I don't want to do that.
Hey, you know what? The thing is I get it. Like, I give lip service to enjoying my alone time, and I do, but I couldn't watch. I love Masterpiece Theater, but I can't watch it without Tina,
Yeah.
I mean,
there are some things that are just better with somebody else. Like, I love my alone time too. There are certain things I totally could do by myself forever, no big deal. But there are some things that are just better with somebody else.
For sure. Are you thinking about putting yourself, or maybe you already have, I don't know. Are you putting yourself out there on any of the dating services?
So I haven't lately. Ironically, before I had my cancer year, I had been on Mutual, and I had gotten no matches for a really long time. And then about within a month after I got diagnosed, all of a sudden I kept getting all these notifications. It was like, you have a match. And I'm like, well, that's cool, but I'm not doing anything right now. I got other things to worry about. And I'm pretty sure nobody wants to start a relationship with somebody that, potentially could die within a couple months for all you know. So we'll hold off on that. So, but I haven't gotten back into it. It's something that I kind of want to do, but I also am the kind of person I kind of have to psych myself up to do that.
It's not comfortable for you?
No. No.
Yeah.
I'm the worst. I am the worst when it comes to putting myself out there.
It's funny. We talked about this. All the aunts and uncles were up at the lake house, and we talked about, if your spouse passed away, would you remarry? Would you date? Would you this or that? And it was interesting because we're going through all these same kinds of questions. It feels loaded because well, would you, Tim? Would you? And I was always like, well, if you're asking me would I still marry Aunt Tina, of course. If you asked her, she probably wouldn't marry me again, which is probably smart on her part. But would I want to date other people? Well, yeah, but not because of the reasons that you're thinking. Not because I would hope to find someone else, but because, there's a richness that comes with, first of all, there's some assurity also that comes, knowing that you've dated a number of different kinds of people to know what it is that you want. Now, as I age and I look in the mirror year after year, I keep thinking, whoa, it's probably a pretty good thing I landed Aunt Tina. Because I would be in a wee bit of trouble. So well, I'm excited. Gordon, the Thomasons.
Yeah, not super well, but yeah.
So he came to me. Oh my gosh, this is years ago. But when he met Barb, he actually came to me and brought me all of his pictures and all of his stuff, and he's like, hey, I don't even know how to do this stuff. He just joined the church. Mm-hmm. Put me out there. I need to meet somebody. Just gotten a divorce, and so we hooked him up and got him out there, and they met and seemed to be happy. So that's pretty cool. So, but I learned through that whole thing that it is amazing how many people are out there, and should you choose, because you have your mother's optimism. I feel that. You hardly ever see your mother without a smile. Very rarely.
It's very true. It's very, very true.
And I used to wonder about its authenticity. I don't anymore. I mean, it's authentic, it's real, and it's carried through to you. I mean, you're like, don't get me wrong. I know you have your down times, but I really feel that, especially with the numbers of people in the church and everything going on, that you're going to find more people than you want to date.
I don't know. I wouldn't mind going on a bunch of dates. Here there. No, I'm just kidding.
You're probably. That's the problem, though. Is you're probably doing better than most of the people you would date. So.
And you know what? That is one of the things where I'm just like, man, I'm a catch. I'm.
Yeah, you are.
Relatively well off, and I don't have the only debt I have is my house, and I'm amazing. So I'm just like, people are missing out.
I definitely think so.
Get a sugar mom is so easy.
Well, not even just that, but I mean, like, and I can cut this out if I get too gross, but I really feel like you are somebody who would be really fun to marry. I mean, you just seem like you are the kind of person who would be really good to be married to.
No, and that's what I think that all the time, because like, and I am very much the kind of person. It's very easy for me to love people like any kind, like love them as family, as friends, as whatever. But I'm also very much the kind of person where it's like, once I decide, okay, this is the person that I'm interested in, like that will not go away for a very long time. A lot for that, and I know this for a fact because they're not sample. Oh my gosh, that would sound like way more than they're actually.
Oh, do tell.
There have been guys in my life where I had a crush on the same guy in high school for all of junior high through high school. That it was the same guy. Everybody knew who it was, and if you ask people now, they'll be able to tell you who it was.
Now we gotta find out. When we put the video out, we're gonna have to, inquiring minds want to know.
Yeah, be like, all right, everybody, quick poll for the Taylor family. Who did Taryn have a crush on in high school? Guarantee people know who it was. You ask Case will tell you who it was. Sterling will tell you who it was. Liesl will know who it was.
Well, I kind of feel like that might now be coming up at the reunion suddenly.
Yeah, if there's any kind of family quiz show, use that as a question. There'll definitely be some people who will get that answer right.
Well, now they'll watch this video or they'll watch this interview and they'll be like, okay. I mean, because I know that. I mean, I don't know what all is going to come out of these for the reunion,
right?
Because it didn't originally start that way, but I can see a lot of golden material coming out of these for the reunion.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. No, it'd be very, very good. So like for me, it's just like if I were to start dating somebody, it would be very easy to become committed very quickly. And and I'm like the kind of person too where for me, I like doing things more for other people than I like doing them for myself, which is very evident in some of the stuff that I do. But so like if somebody else needed, like if I was dating someone or was married to someone and they needed something, like I absolutely would do whatever I could to, take care of them, to the detriment of taking care of myself sometimes, which is something I do. But whoever I marry is going to be very well taken care of in a lot of ways. And so it's just like, I just gotta find a way to tell guys that without making it sound like I'm bragging about myself, like really, really badly.
Well, and hey, if you meet the right guy, he's going to take care of you too.
Exactly. Yep. And that's really all I want. That's all I want is like really when it boils down to it, I want to be married so that I can help take care of somebody, but also so that they can help take care of me. Like I want that to be a mutually beneficial relationship.
Of course. Yeah. And as it should be. Okay, we're gonna have to come back to this so I can stop blushing. Let's move on to tell us about your career. Tell us about. I want to hear like how you got started, and the various iterations and positions, and apparently you work for an incredible company, which you'll tell us about because
I do.
You loved them and they loved you through this whole process. Sounds like.
It's been really interesting. So as a lot of people know, I work for Amazon, and a lot of people have either a love or hate relationship or a love-hate relationship with Amazon. And I totally get that. Like, I'm not gonna judge anybody if they don't like Amazon. That's totally fine. But
I love them. I love them.
I've been very fortunate to work for them. And like my career path has been, it's not like it's been anything like super fancy or anything like that. But basically, I've actually been working for Amazon for over 10 years now. And when I started out working, I worked as a customer service associate at the call center here in the Tri-Cities. And I started out as a seasonal associate. So got hired, basically I was like a temporary associate, and had had the, well, if you do well and, and they open up permanent roles and you apply for a permanent role and you do well, you could get hired onto a permanent role. And it's like, awesome. So I'd been working for a women's gym called Curves in Richland.
Oh,
yeah. So I didn't, and it was part-time. It wasn't like full-time work.
Well, hold on. Pause. So before you move on, because I want to go there, but what had you finished school at that time?
I had, yeah. So I graduated college in 2009.
Okay.
And moved home. So moved home, was living with my parents. When I moved home, actually, they were still at the old house up at the trailer. So they finished building the new house while I was living there, and we moved into the new house. So yeah, I graduated with a degree, and now I'm moving back in with my parents, and I can't find a job.
So soon after that, at some point, you went to work for Curves.
Yep. So eventually, I got a job at Curves, and I was working there part-time and doing that. And I was like, I gotta find a full-time job. I didn't mind living at home, but I am a very independent person. And to be really honest, my parents raised me that way. They raised us to, be independent and want to be able to take care of ourselves, and which I'm very grateful for, because I totally could have ended up being a mooch otherwise. Then that would be bad. But I wanted to be able to save up enough money where I could move out of my parents' house and be able to, do things on my own. So I needed to find a full-time job. I had a couple friends who worked for Amazon, and they told me, hey, they're hiring seasonal associates right now. You can apply and get a job for that. And I was like, awesome. So applied, got that seasonal job, worked, did my seasonal role. And then in about December-ish, they had put out, hey, we have some permanent roles open if anyone wants to apply for them. So I applied for that and was able to get a permanent customer service associate role. So I was doing customer service for, 3-ish years. We had started out doing online chats, which I actually really liked doing online chats for customer service because you could not hear how mad customers got. It's a lot easier to deal with frustrated people when you can't hear how frustrated they are and all they can do is type in all caps at you. So it was that's a lot easier to deal with. But anyway, so I did online chats and then sometimes did phones too. But so my degree is in English and I love writing and I love editing, and found out that, hey, Amazon had a content team that wrote customer service content. So they wrote like things for the help pages and for like the customer service resources that I was using as an associate. And I went, hey, I would totally be interested in doing stuff like that. I love writing, I love editing. This is the kind of thing I think I'd be good at. And so there was an internship opportunity that opened up on the team that they basically made available to customer service associates to apply for. So I went, awesome. So I applied for that and I got that internship role, and I was an intern on the team for 6 months. Did really well, impressed some people on the team. So that definitely helped. And so when my intern role ended, they told me, hey, if we have an open role on the team that comes up, we want you to apply for it and we'll let you know when we have one open. I was like, awesome. So within a couple months, they had an open role. They let me know. I applied for it and I got that role. So I made it through one last Christmas, one last holiday as a customer service associate on the phones. And then in January of the next year, I had started my content developer role on the team. And I was so happy to never have to do phone calls again. It made me very, very happy. That was 7-ish years ago.
Yeah.
I think it was the same year I moved into this house, actually. So yeah, I think about 7 years ago. And I've been on that team ever since. So I was a content developer, and then eventually I kind of got nudged into people management, which actually I really enjoy. I really, really enjoy that. And so now I'm a content strategist on the team. And yeah, that's kind of kind of what it is.
So do you have, is it like an official HR title?
No, well, not HR, no.
Okay.
I am a manager. I am a people manager.
Uh-huh.
But it's not HR necessarily. But one of the things I've learned doing this people managing is that I really do enjoy people managing, because for me it's not about getting to tell people what to do. It's about helping people be able to develop their strengths, help them overcome any weaknesses they might have, and also just help them be able to do what they want to do. So like a lot of it is, kind of career development, where it's like, hey, what do you see yourself doing? Where do you want to be? And let's get you those opportunities that will help you get to where you want to be. And so I really enjoyed that, to the point where it kind of has made me think, I might be interested, I am interested in doing something that is less on the, like, I want to get out of the content team at some point and like be completely like either HR, because I really do enjoy helping people and making sure people are taken care of and doing what I can to do that, or even something like I've had some hiring experience here over the past year where I was the hiring manager for a couple roles on our team, and I'm starting to get to a point where like maybe I'd be interested in like doing something with recruiting too, where you help find candidates for roles within the company, and you help reach out to people and help recycle candidates if maybe they weren't a good fit for that role. Maybe there's another role that they'd be a good fit for, that kind of a thing. And I'm like, I'd really think I'd enjoy doing that too. So
That's really cool.
yeah.
That's like coaching, almost leadership development kind of stuff.
Exactly. And that's the stuff I really enjoy. I love coaching people, whether it's, helping them find things that they're good at and find a good fit for them. Or like if somebody's struggling with something, I like helping people out with those things. And so there's these things where I'm just like, I think I'd really enjoy doing more of this. Like I do still love writing and editing. But I've also been doing it for like 7 years. So, and working with people individually is something that I just love. And so I really want to do more of that. That's the kind of thing that makes me happy. that makes me really like what I'm doing.
That's good.
Yeah.
So my experience has been that people development, leadership is fun.
Mm-hmm.
HR, not so much, because HR to me has always been like, and I used to think it was funny. It depends on the company, I guess you're with. Amazon might be big enough that they could actually do HR versus, like, to me, human resources actually became less about developing the human than it seemed like it was more about liability management.
Yeah.
Than about the person. You're actually there protecting the company, which there's a role for that. And I mean, I don't relish those kind of roles, and there are people who do like that stuff. I don't. I would prefer to be on the side that you like, which is the leadership side, the team building, the fun, doing the fun stuff that makes people work together and realize their potential.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. I'll bet you'd be really good at that, actually.
I have been, so every year we have, a performance review, and the people who I manage, you always have to provide feedback about your manager, and I get really good feedback from from my people. So I'm like, I think I do a pretty good job. I haven't had any complaints yet. Nobody has gone, I don't ever want to have Taryn as a manager ever again. So
do they actually do a do you do like a yearly, how often do you do like a review?
Well, we have an annual review, so it's both a self-review and like a review from peers. So like you can request feedback from people, and it's all provided to you anonymously, so you don't know like who has provided which feedback, which I am very grateful for. I don't need to know specifically what so-and-so thinks about me. I like knowing, okay, this is my feedback, and here's some things that I can work on, and here's some things that I'm really strong at. I've actually really enjoyed it. We do that yearly. I really enjoy it though, because the way it's focused on, and this is something I really like, is it's focused on, hey, what are some strengths and what are some areas of opportunity? And it's like not as a, hey, you're really bad at this and you need to work on this, but like it can be framed as a, hey, here's something that you just need to work on more. Not that you don't do it, it's just here's something that you can do more of. And I really like that because it helps me too as a manager, because then it's just like, okay, look, let's focus on the things that you're doing. Either you need to do more of these things, but also I really like getting feedback about strengths from other people, because and every single year somebody has, given me feedback and I just go, I didn't ever think of that as a strength. Like, I didn't know that people noticed that about me, or I didn't think that was something that I was capable of, but somebody thinks I am capable of that. So that's awesome.
I went to a mic.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. I was just going to tell you about it.
No.
You finish your thought.
I was like, that's kind of actually how I got into the people managing. Was somebody went, Taryn, you're really good at working with people. You should, go into people managing and stuff like that. Like that could be a really good opportunity for you. And I had never thought of doing that before, because I'm very much a heads down, work on my stuff, and that's it. I am totally fine working on my own. But yeah, it was feedback from somebody else that kind of, went, hey, maybe this is something that I could be good at. And then ended up doing it and going like, wow, it isn't even just about it's something I could be good at. It's something I love. It's something I enjoy. So yeah.
That's awesome. So while you were speaking, I was reminded, and I mentioned this once before in another interview, but I got a chance to go to Mike Jones' Leadership U in Houston, Texas. And it was a leadership conference. But one of the things that, and this kind of intrinsically, especially if you've been in this world, but they teach you that you might as well be open and like, what's the word I always use? Now it's escaping me. Vulnerable about weaknesses.
Yeah.
Because the only person who doesn't see your weaknesses is you. Everybody else does. Now, what you just explained was, in other words, like no reason to hide them because everybody knows what they are. But what you just explained was the same thing is true about strengths, right? You may have strengths that you don't even know about, or strengths that you could develop more or whatever. But when someone tells you that they noticed it, that gives a huge platform to jump off and develop yourself even more, and maybe even a little more confidence in certain areas.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Like there are definitely things, and just like in the environment I work in, like especially, but like if you had asked me back when I was in high school, hey Taryn, what kind of like career do you see yourself having in however many years? Do you think you would ever work for, if you'd asked me in high school, Taryn, do you think you'd ever work for a corporate company? I would have been like, no. Absolutely not. Not just because at the time I figured, well, I'm just gonna get married and be a mom because that's all I really want to do. But working in a corporate environment, no, I absolutely would have never thought that I would do something like this. Not just because I didn't necessarily want to. I like doing more creative stuff, but also because I never thought I would have been capable of working somewhere where, it was corporate type stuff, and where it was, here's your projects and here's these things. Like, I would have never thought I was capable of doing this, because I probably would have thought that I would either go nuts or that I would end up like making people hate me. That people just go, Taryn, you're not cut out for this. You need to find another job. And that hasn't been the case. At no point has anyone ever told me, Taryn, you're not cut out for working for Amazon. You need to go work somewhere else. It's just been more, Taryn, I think you'd be really good in this role. Taryn, I think you'd actually be really good in this role. And me finding out, oh, I am. This is weird. This is not what I expected. Okay. And that confidence too, being like, because there are times, and there still are times, where I feel like I am such a fake compared to some of the people I work with, because they either have business degrees or they have worked for other corporate companies. And so they have a whole lot more of corporate experience. And I'm just like, the only corporate company I've ever worked for is Amazon. I have no experience outside of this company. And so sometimes I feel like a fake, but that's not the case. Like, people recognize the good things I do, and I get that, that good feedback, and I go, okay, and I have more confidence in my ability to do stuff. And it's like, okay, cool. So people think I'm capable of this. I must be capable of it.
Well, it's I think we get a lot of juice from other people, more than we probably should. But it's true of all of us, right?
Yep.
I mean, and why I think, and this will drive the point home, why I think it's so important to give positive feedback whenever you get an opportunity to, because I think people are hungry for it,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I know 2 people on this call tonight that are hungry for it. And so, no, but I mean, hearing you talk like this and understanding the same is true in my life, I think it's definitely true of people that you may not even know. We hear it all the time when you go to church and whatnot, but man, I mean, look around, in fact, where was this? This was just today. Where was it? It was in church. It was out at McKaylee's farewell.
Mm-hmm.
Bishop Specht was talking about people who are hurting. And he said, and I thought this was really cool the way he said this. I'm going to butcher it, but because the way he said it was really cool. But what he said was, whenever possible in your life, look for some people who are hurting and see what you can do to help. And he's like, and the good news is you don't have to look very far. Look to your left, look to your right. And that's so true. And I like using, this opportunity with you and putting your interview out there for our family to let everybody know that, it's like visiting teaching or like being a minister to your families. You want to have a relationship strong enough that someone can ask you if they need you. But so often, and I do it too, I'll call my ministering families and we'll talk to them. I'll be like, hey, if you need anything, let me know. And, we've talked about this before too. That's sort of lame. I wish there was a better way to go about it, but there's really not, unless you put in the time, right? Unless you get to know someone. So that brings up a question though. What is your calling right now? I shouldn't even assume.
I don't have a calling right now. So my ward actually split. My ward boundaries changed end of last year. Yeah, it was towards the fall of last year. So I'm in a new ward now, and with everything, there haven't been a ton of new callings with the ward. So the only calling that I have right now really is my ministering assignment, but otherwise I don't have a calling right now. Before though, I had been in the most recent calling I'd had was in the young women's, and I actually really loved that. I loved being in the young women's. Those are fun. And the young men's, I had a good time too.
Well, how about this is probably an interesting question, at least it is. I want to hear what you have to say about this, because I don't know what it's like. With my own issues, there's a chance that you have to kind of look at your mortality in the mirror and you go, well, am I afraid of passing? And this sounds funny, but I don't think I was ever afraid of passing. What spooked me was not living. And that sounds funny to say, but it's like missing out on things, right?
Yeah.
That was the main thing. So my question is, now that this is starting to move into your rear view, what are your goals? I mean, have you got 5-year goals, 10-year goals? What is it that you want to accomplish aside from, finding Tom Selleck and getting married?
So actually that's total side note. The Tom Selleck thing, I was watching Haley's video the other day and saw the bit about Aunt Tina and Tom Selleck. So the joke in my family, or between me and my mom at least, is that Tom Selleck is the first voice I ever heard in this world.
Are you serious?
Because Magnum PI was on the TV when my mom was in labor with me. So that's the joke, is Magnum PI, Tom Selleck is the first voice I ever heard in this world. And I found that out because I was in the living room one time, had my back to the TV. My parents were watching the biography channel or whatever, and there was a thing about Tom Selleck, and he was talking, and my mom goes, "Taryn, do you recognize that voice?" I
Hold on, wait just a second, Taryn, wait a second. Tim Taylor, will you please leave the room for a minute? Tim Taylor, please leave the room. Okay, go ahead.
Taryn, do you recognize that voice? And I was like, should I? And I'm like, no. And I turn around and it's Tom Selleck. And I'm just like, I was in high school, I think, when this happened. No, it had to have been college because we didn't have more than 4 channels when I
yeah.
School, but it was just like, should I? And then she tells me the story. Magnum PI was on in the delivery room, and I was just like, are you serious?
That's so funny because, and I don't even know if I mentioned this now that you bring it up, if I did, excuse me, but so when I first met Aunt Tina down in Provo, did I tell this story?
I don't know if you did.
Okay, all right. So when I first met Aunt Tina down in Provo, when I went down after my mission, it was the funniest thing because I think it was Thursday nights. I remember it that well. I think that Magnum PI was on Thursday nights, and I don't know that I had been particularly a Magnum fan, but when I was hanging out with Tina, all the girls in in the apartment got together to watch Magnum PI on Thursday nights. So embarrassing.
Oh gosh, it's too funny. It's seriously too funny.
I like all of his westerns.
Oh my goodness. No,
so what do you think? All right, are you with me? Do you think the Severin looks like Magnum? Does Severin look like Tom Selleck?
I could see how he could with the mustache. I haven't seen him with facial hair in a really long time, so it's been a while. But I could see how he could. I could see how he could with the mustache. He could pull it off.
Haley did well. You got to give her credit.
She did.
All right, so
he did too.
He did. He absolutely did. Yeah, they're good for each other.
So
we got off on Tom Selleck there for a second.
I got real sidetracked.
Yeah,
5-10-year goals.
Yeah, what are your goals?
I have none.
I don't believe that.
Bad about setting goals. Like I'm super, super bad about it.
All right, let's change this then. Let's change it. Hold on, let's change this because I'm making you think. So what do you dream about?
Oh gosh. What do I dream about?
You can't say Tom Selleck and you can't say marriage.
No, I don't.
Okay.
No, I mean, I would love to be married. Again, because it goes back to the things where it's like, I don't want to be alone. Like seriously, one of my biggest things, as much as I like, and maybe this is what it is, as much as I like being alone, I don't like being lonely. And I like having my alone time. I like having my downtime, but I need people. I very much am the kind of person where I need people in my life and I need to be able to have those connections with people. And some of it is just that I want people to know me. I want people to know my little weird hangups or my little weird quirks or whatever, and not just know them, but also enjoy them.
Yeah.
And so like when I think about, what do I want? Part of the reason I want to get married is so that I have somebody who, knows those little weird things about me and enjoys them. And just goes,
well,
Taryn
let's talk
through her mac and cheese, and I think that's cute.
Okay, all right. Mac and cheese is all right. What else?
I sing to my mac and cheese.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, I sing to my food sometimes when I'm eating.
All right, that's awesome.
But it's just these little things, and I'm like, I just want somebody who knows the little things about me and enjoys them. Because I am the kind of person where I like knowing little things about people and enjoying them too. Like I like knowing things about people, and I like, I just like knowing people. And so I want someone to know me too, and not just on a surface level. Like I want somebody who knows me, in a much deeper way, who knows like all the little things that maybe I don't want to share with.
I don't blame you. That's very cool. Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, like what do I dream about? I'd love to be married someday. I'd love to have somebody in my life and to be there in that same way for someone else. Because I don't want to be lonely, and I don't want to be alone forever. Like I don't at all.
Right.
I love kids, but I'm not gonna lie anymore. I'm getting older and older every day. And I'm not gonna lie, I get tired. I'm very out of shape. Quarantine did not help for getting back into shape after cancer year, but And so I'm just like, I don't know if I could keep up with kids, to be really honest. So like, I love kids. I would love to have kids, but I also worry that I would not be able to keep up with kids. And would I even actually be a good mom in that sense? If I can't keep up with my children, would I even be a good mom for kids like that? So I don't know. I honestly don't know.
You got a garage, right?
I do. Yeah.
So you work for an awesome shipping company and store. So you know, because like for example, I hate going to the gym. I love working out, but I hate going to the gym.
Same here.
Dressing up to go to the, you know, for me, I got to shower.
I don't like going anywhere half the time. Like I really want to go to the gym.
I know, but it's different if you have a garage and you can just put, you know, you could buy some weights and put them out there and start working out, get yourself, I mean, you're not alone, by the way. Everybody's got this last year to shed off of us.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's something to think about. I do that. I've got one out here, but it had been a while since I had one set up, but I'm sure glad I have it back. I started going to, oh no, what's the gym with all the purple?
Oh shoot.
Planet Fitness.
Yes.
So we were going there, and then when the thing hit, you know, I lost my flavor for it. Didn't like really going. But I think that if you set up a gym in your garage, and I'll help you if you want help, but that you would love it because you don't have to get out of your jammies. You can just go out there and work out.
Yeah, the not having to leave my house part would be very, very nice. Not gonna
Absolutely.
One thing I do, and this is, I kind of alluded to it earlier, I'm really bad about doing things just for myself. If I'm doing them for someone else, I am so much better about it. So like some of it too is like, I kind of almost need to not do things only on my own, because then I just go, it's not that important, it's fine, I don't have to do it right now, it's not going to be the end of the world if it doesn't happen right now. But if it doesn't happen for somebody else, then to me that's the end of the world. So then I go, no, it has to happen right now, because that was the agreement, that was the plan. They're counting on me, I can't let them down.
Yeah, your future spouse is going to be happy.
Oh yeah. Gonna have it so good.
We gotta find you somebody really good looking who needs a sugar mama.
Seriously, who like, all I want from them is, will you come watch Netflix with me? Will you take the garbage out? Will you do the things I don't want to do? Cool, we'll be happy then.
Yeah, right. It's amazing what a happy woman can do for a man. All right, so you haven't really given much thought to the goals. You do have dreams. Oh wait. We started on the idiosyncrasies. I know about mac and cheese.
Yes, mac and cheese. Me singing to my mac and cheese. What other little weird things do I do?
You got to have at least 5. Come on.
Oh, I do have. I have more than that.
All right, so
sing in the shower.
What do you sing? What kind of songs?
Anything. I love music, which some people know and some people might not, but I love music, like all kinds.
Okay, question.
Yeah.
Do you know the song "The Prayer"?
Oh yes, that's the one. Josh Groban has sung it before, right?
Yes. Yeah, yes. It's a Grammy Award.
Multiple singers have, but Josh Groban was the first one I thought of.
Yeah, on the male side, and of course that's who you would listen. I listen to female singers sing it, but yeah, I'm sure it has the same effect. Okay, so that's good. So I know you like that kind of music.
I do. I love all kinds of music. Like I love that kind of music. I love music from movies. I love instrumental music too. Like I love show tunes. I love stuff for musicals. Trying to think what's other stuff. I like rock. I actually like a lot of classic rock stuff too.
All right, so then the real question to answer this is, what do you sing in the shower?
All of these things. I have this is the problem. I have a Spotify account, so again, you should marry me so you get a free Spotify account.
Yeah.
So I have a Spotify Spotify, and I have playlists of just tons of stuff. And I have a playlist that seriously just has any music, any song that I listen to, and I go, oh, I really like this. I drop it into that playlist. And then, and I literally, and it's like, or any song that I'm just like, I like singing along to this song, and I drop it into that playlist. And it's all sorts of genres. We're talking like Disney songs. We're talking stuff from High School Musical. We're talking AC/DC is in there. We're talking,
Nice.
I'm trying to think of some other really random stuff that's in there. Just all sorts of music. And I just love it. Like, I just love it. And so I will sing to whatever comes up in that. I'll just hit play and then leave my phone on the counter while I take my shower, and whatever comes up, I'll sing along with it.
Did you ever used to go to karaoke or anything?
No, no, I never did. The only time I've ever done karaoke ever was in my senior year, and it was our senior, like the not our senior trip, because we didn't do a trip, but night of graduation, we went and had like our senior night or whatever, and there was like this little karaoke thing, and you had to do all these different activities to earn like tokens basically that you would then use on like an auction later on. And so I was going around doing a bunch of different stuff, and I got talked into doing karaoke, and so I'm better at it now, but like back in the day, I hated singing in front of people. I would get really nervous about it unless I was like with the group. But if it was me singing by myself, no way. I did not want to do that. Not because I had a bad singing voice. I was just very self-conscious, and I never liked doing anything by myself in front of a group, which is ironic when you think about the fact that I used to be in drama and I was in multiple plays. But that was because I was doing it with friends. I was doing it with the group, and I was never like the only person on stage. So it was about doing it as a group, and it was a lot of fun for me. I really loved that. So I've never really done karaoke. I would though, like I would do it now, and probably do it a lot more easily than I used to, but I love singing to songs in the car too, like going on a road trip and having music playing. I've done that by myself plenty of times, where like I would be on the road for 4, 5, 8 hours, however long, depending on where I was driving. And I would just have music going the whole time and just be singing along the whole time. And cool. I love doing that. I love it. So that's actually on my mutual profile, which I haven't updated in forever. That's actually something I put in the About Me section, was if you can't handle people singing along to songs in the car, we won't work.
Don't apply.
Yeah, just pass on by. It won't work. Sorry. It's a fact of life for me.
So road tripping, singing along at road trips is fun for you. All right. So we have, so we have some good ones. We still need a couple more. What are some more charming idiosyncrasies that actually, give me one that you are afraid to just tell. Give me one that you're afraid. Yeah, come on. Yeah.
Is there anything that I'm afraid of? I feel like I don't know. I feel like the older I get, and then also with all the times that I had to take my shirt off at the doctor's office during cancer, that anymore I'm just like, I don't care. Whatever.
All right. Then that opens it up pretty wide for us now. So so let's hear something that no one knows.
What does no one know?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Well, nobody's been around when I play computer games by myself a whole lot, so people don't know that when I'm playing computer games and there are spiders in the game, I will freak out. I definitely have a reaction to spiders dropping out of nowhere in video games, and there have been times where I'll be playing in my office and I will literally like scream. I'll either scream or I'll start singing to myself to distract myself about how much I hate what's going on. And there are times where I'm just like, sometimes I wish there was somebody else who lived here so that they could enjoy this.
Spiders are out again. The spiders, the digital spiders are getting her.
The digital spiders are not my biggest fans. Don't like them. I can handle killing a spider in real life just fine. And I don't mind killing a spider in a game either, but I don't do well with spiders that drop down out of nowhere. If there's a spider, I have to know where it is. If I don't know where it is, then there's a problem.
Do you play Xbox or is it just computer games?
No, so computer, and then I do have a Nintendo Switch, and so I play some games on there too. But I don't have an Xbox or a PS whatever or anything like that. So it's just computers, really. Yeah, I know. I was like, what state are they? What number are they at these days?
Because you're cutting yourself way down on the exposure to young men without that Xbox system.
I know.
Although you marry a guy like that, he'll probably, well, actually that might be good though. He'll probably just hang out in the computer room and play Xbox all day.
Seriously, if I could meet a guy who wouldn't mind playing games with me, I'm down with that too. I like playing games with other people. Like, I really enjoy it. I don't mind playing by myself too, but I like doing stuff with people, and so it's fun.
Methinks you might be a queen of the dark web. So so now I'm wondering, what is your screen name? One that other people don't know. What's your secret screen name?
My secret screen name?
Yeah, what's your avatar? What's your secret avatar?
I have a secret one. Do I have a secret one? No, actually. Okay, if you see,
come on. Just out with it.
My secret screen name, I don't have a secret screen name. It's one I use for a lot of different games, but people don't see it as often because it's one of those background ones. So you only see the characters' names. Because I play a lot of online RPGs, a lot of MMO RPGs. So my username for a lot of things is Renanav, which is actually a character I made for my Star Wars game that I play. So.
Wait a minute. How do you spell it?
Renanev.
Renanav?
Renanav, yeah.
Renanav, okay.
Yeah.
Right. Renanav. Okay, so young man out there, look for the name Renanav.
Yeah. If you see that name, it's probably me, because I don't know anybody else who uses that.
Now, how'd you come up with that?
It was the name of a character I made for a Star Wars game I play.
Yeah, but you made the character, so how did you come up with? I mean,
easy. I can come up with names very easily. I am a very creative person in the sense of I mentioned before I love writing and editing. What I didn't mention is that I love creative writing. I've always wanted, and going back a little bit, tie this back into goals or dreams. I've always wanted to write a book or some kind of piece of media. Back in the day, I would have loved to write episodes for Psych or for, a TV show that I really liked or whatever. I've always wanted to write creatively because I enjoy doing that. I love doing that. I love writing stories. I love coming up with characters. And it's something I just really, really enjoy. So the way that I've been doing that lately, because I don't do a whole lot of creative writing these days, is really just creating characters in these games.
Really?
And so it's very easy for me to come up with character names, either by thinking about names that I already know and tweaking them a little bit, or just being what's a name that I like the sound of, or that kind of a thing. So it's very easy for me to come up with characters.
Do you build little avatars? Do you build little avatars for the characters?
Oh, heck yeah. A lot of the games I play, they have character creation. That you have to create your character and you have to choose all these options. And I could spend hours doing that easily.
So where's my finger, right? Okay, so do you guys recognize this little guy right here? We'll cut this out so that later I can have you send me an avatar and I can pop it in here.
Here's one of my characters. Here's one. Characters. If you ever see this character in this game, it's Taryn.
Look at this guy right here. This is one of Taryn's avatars. Okay, so let's see. What territory have we? I know I'm omitting something. God, the problem is we're having too much fun for being at this already an hour and a half.
I know, right?
Okay, here's what we're gonna do. This is a good start. So what I've done with everybody else is, we haven't had this much fun though, but we'll cut this short with one more question, and then I'm gonna come back around. This will give you a chance to. Okay, we did it once, you can be like, "Ew, I hated this," or "I like that," and then next time we do it, you'll know what you do or don't want to do, right?
Yeah.
So, of everything that we talked about so far, and you've heard this question before. What is something that I didn't ask you, or something that you would like people to know, or something that you just want to say to the world?
Oh, there's like a ton of things, really, because like I said before, I just want people to know me. So
Yeah, well,
like,
let's hear it.
So many things I could share, but if we're gonna focus on, I don't know, maybe one thing.
Okay, you can give me however many you want. I've got all the time in the world, but
well, we though. At some point, I got to go to bed, so I do have work tomorrow. But yeah, no, I don't know, and I kind of hit on it earlier, but like for me, like seriously, it's very easy for me to love people. Like it just is. Like there isn't a single person in our family, whether I know them very well or not, that that I don't love and that I don't care about. Like I just want people to be happy, and I feel like that about a lot of people, whether I know them very well or not. And so it's just like it's important for me that people know that they're loved, but also that people feel like they're loved, and there's a difference between the two.
Sure.
But I'm also not always very good about showing that I love people. And I think to some degree, it's just because for me, it's just like, well, that's just how it is. I just do. Like, I just do. So there isn't anything like extra that I would do to show that, because it is just part of who I am. And so for anybody in the family, and honestly, for anybody who's ever interacted with me, like if anyone has ever, felt like, I don't really know what Taryn's thinking. I don't really know what Taryn thinks about me. I don't really know like how Taryn feels about me. Like, I can guarantee, unless you have like really, really tried hard to make me not like you, and it would take a lot, I love you. And I just, I want you to be happy. And however that is, it doesn't make a difference to me what it is that makes you happy. I want you to be happy, and I want you to know that I love you and that I care about you. And that I hope you feel comfortable, being around me too, because that's important to me too. For me, like, I think I mentioned this to you before. I know I've told some people about this, but like, I want to be a safe person for people. I want to be the kind of person that people feel like they are comfortable being around, and that they can talk to and not feel like they're going to be judged, or that somebody's going to think differently about them after they share something or whatever, or not even that they have to share anything, just that, that I'm a safe person, and I'm somebody that they can be themselves around.
You did tell me that, and I actually believed you, but it's like, it's still hard. It's still hard.
Yeah, it is. No, it is. And it's hard because like, I want people to be like that for me, but it's also sometimes hard for me to be fully myself around some people.
Yeah.
Get so used to being a certain way. And like, especially when, especially with family where you've known each other for such a long time and everybody changes over the years, it's really easy to be like, okay, but that's how it used to be. So that's kind of how it always is, right? And that's how it's always going to be. Which isn't the case. Like, people change over the years, and and things are going to be different. And people that you don't necessarily have, that you maybe didn't have a relationship with when you were younger, maybe you'll get the opportunity to have a better relationship with them, or develop a better friendship with them, or get to know them better the older you get. Like, I know when I was really young, I didn't know like Haley very well at all. I didn't know. Oh, I'm trying to think of who else that I've gotten to know better over the years. But like, I didn't know Haley very well at all when I was younger. But when I was in college, and I think I was in college still, but I'd be home for the summer, Haley and I went to the young single adults ward together for a while. Hannah too, actually. I was in that ward with Hannah too for a while. I had never spent time with them when I was younger. Why would I? They were, older than I was. We were in totally different age groups. But spending time with them in the young single adults ward, I got to know them better, and I got to have a better like friendship with them. And it's, not something I ever would have thought would have happened when I was younger, but it did happen the older we got and had those opportunities. And it was really good. Like, I'm terrible with keeping in touch with people. So I like haven't talked to either of them in such a long time, except for at, family get-togethers or whatever. But like, I know them better than I ever did when I was younger, for sure. And obviously things have changed still. So I still probably know them in a different way. than I would now. But it's just, I mean, that's one of the things I like about our family is that we have the opportunity to get to know each other better at any stage. Like, it doesn't have to be, I didn't know them very well when I was younger, so I can't know them now. Or, well, I know them really now, know them really well now, but, here in the next 20 years, who knows what's going to happen or that kind of thing. Or they're such a totally different age than me. Like, they're 10 years younger than me or 10 years older than me or whatever. Like, there's no way we'd have anything in common. Not the case. Like, definitely not the case. So I think maybe, like, if we're talking about family stuff, especially, that's something that I would want to encourage people, is that if you ever feel like you want to get to know me better, please do. Like, I'll warn you, I'm really bad about starting the conversation, but once the conversation's going, you might have to be like, Taryn, we gotta stop. we gotta call this quits at some point. Or
well,
pick it up later.
I can attest to that to a certain extent. I mean, we didn't spend a ton of time together, but that one conversation that we had, I loved. And so
yeah,
for any of you who are thinking about it, it is hella fun to get to know Taryn better.
And I love getting to know people better too. Like, I really do. I love getting to talk to people more. So please do. Like, and even if it's just like, if you feel like you need a safe person to talk to someone about, I'm very safe. Not only because, there's a real good chance if you're just like, I don't want, please don't share this with anybody else, I'll probably forget anyway. So my memory is not great. So I'll be safe in that sense too, but also I'm not gonna, like I said, I love people no matter what, whatever they're like. You'd have to try it really, really hard to get me to not love you. So, I hope people feel like I'm a safe person for them, if they need it. And if they don't, that's totally fine too. I'm not saying everybody has to all of a sudden like start being like, okay, well, Taryn, I need to like come talk to you about everything.
But now that you put it out there, you never know.
Yeah. And I'm happy to. I'm a good listener. I'm a good talker too, if you need it.
You are. You're awesome.
Thank you.
It's fun getting to know you. Actually, I love you. I love you to pieces.
I love you too. I really, really do. I really do. Always have.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm not that lovable sometimes, but.
No, it doesn't make a difference. Like I said, you'd have to try really hard.
Well, good. Okay, so this will be called round one. I don't know when round two will happen exactly because we got a few more people in round one. Not everyone's wanting to do this, as I said. I'm hoping that your opening up tonight when we do release it will help those who are a little hesitant to just jump on board.
Yeah.
But we'll see how that goes. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe they will.
Well, I'd love it. Anybody who feels like it's something they'd like to do, even if you just like a little bit, like you just have a tiny bit of interest. And I think Haley said this too, like you're a really good person to talk to, just to be open about too, because it's like, it's very easy to feel comfortable talking to you. And also to feel like, if there is something where I went, ooh, actually, I don't want that shared with the family, that I could tell you that and you would go, okay, then we won't share that. So
yeah, of course. I gave lip service to a couple of people like, I'm sorry, but I'm a reporter, and if you said it, I'm reporting it. Of course, I'm totally full of it because, if you don't want something in, I'll take it out for sure.
Yep.
It's not like, anyway. Well, that's good. Okay, good. Well, good. Well, thank you, and you need to get your sleep.
Well, it's still early. I should eat dinner first.
Wait a minute. What are you having?
I don't know. It's either going to be, I'm either going to suck it up and actually cook, or I'm just going to make taquitos. I haven't decided yet.
Taquitos.
There's like a 90% chance it's going to be taquito.
Awesome. Well, we'll talk again soon.
Sounds good.
And thanks for spending the time with me tonight.
Absolutely. I've enjoyed it.
Don't ever stop smiling.
It would take a lot to get me to stop.
Your smile's super hot. That's what's going to get you a guy. I can tell you right now.
I hope so. Something's got to. Something's got to. If the sugar mama and all of that doesn't work, then something's got to work at some point.
Well, I'm gonna start blushing again. So. All right, I'm gonna get off so that I can go and douse myself off and quit blushing so much.
No worries, I won't judge.
All right, we'll see you later.
Sounds good. Thanks, Uncle
All right,
Tim.
bye.
Bye.